Shouldn't we probe even deeper?
Nigeria is suffering. The suffering is too much.
When it comes to the complexities of political
leadership.
3 p.m. on your top dial.
That matter what I do.
With approximately 47 million people practicing ocean facilities, the stats look grim. The overriding effect in itself can be to end this scourge.
The Wednesday, it often feels like a lie. Before you do your scale of preference, you find out that conversation is not even in the top 5. Like how it's economical, it's social, it's moral, is whatever space that is always something. Observer, you have enough. If you are a participant, whether active or passive, little by little, this time, and when I say in the 9th, but or your state with Sheikh. Take us to 1 governors. Unfortunately, they did for only 6. From a political party that was talk about that, it paid a visit to Badamasi Babangida, in his main candidate of the People's Democratic Party, that they just went to pay a courtesy visit to an elder statesman. We have so much to talk about on the show today. But before we face all of those, in the last week Wednesday exactly, that was when the Senate sat. But of course, the news did not filter on 22. This section 60 subsection 3 of the article had raised a lot of questions. These are the questions, and 2 days later, as some concerned Nigerians took to the streets of Abuja, specifically at the entrance of the National Assembly election, and of course, notable Nigerians also joined in the protest. 2022 APC protest ground, the presidential candidate of the people there, and there was also a memo February 2026 able to look into the harmonization of this deepest in their franchise, the right to play our own part of the deal by voting for these people. If I don't provide uninterrupted electricity in your said on the 16th of PM, the national grid does not have a single megawatt. Then said, hey, if I don't give you electricity, don't vote for me for the second time. We're building up to the election, and I hope and I'm praying for the point of capability to deliver. Not exactly, I will not agree, is big. Before I bring up my guests, both of them are seated in the studio already. I stand to be corrected. During the military, while it was an exile, it was the Occupy Nigeria protest development, with the leader of the constantly being denied and gagged. And I asked myself, just it is not a war situation. Extremists that want to impose. There were no police in those places. Law let Nigerians speak when they are. It's not easy. A red cap chief, man that never runs out of means where we can have transparency in our election side.
Rights that freedom to do, so that's why where you have function protests are allowed to the power comes from. That's why, for example, in the US you have generators or keke
or fertilizer,
and follow up on things are very, very important. Particular issue. Where do you want me to? So you will not see legislators of the people. Are even making effort to get how nations have evolved to become functional democracies of the world. We like want to ask yourself why in reality no other one. But when you now begin to see an arm is on your and the people that are close to them, that for everything they do, unless someone again, that's a conversation for another day. But I keep in the philosophy of ᴏᴜᴜ, from good governance that thought governance should be about. But ask yourself, people pretending, to be what they actually not. Oh, we've seen ones were soldiers. God knows what that, but at some point they say allowed for. You understand what I'm saying? And they are still able to even protest now. The issue of they see a lot of them, they are just making noise, same way I expect a different result. 1990 date we've conducted army elections. We did one in 1999.
2003.
Well, the 1999 one we gave
more
excuses.
like a selection.
No, we even gave excuses that were just all of those minuses and issues. There was those. Then so we came in 2007 and the person who destiny, as we eventually have it that look, we did 2015 so the Electoral Act also came very late. When President Muhammadu Buhari signed it,
and they still
back and forth, of who should become a delegate at party primaries or vision of transmission of results. So He was singing with it. Thank you, Mr. Matthew. About the fact that look, this we didn't see it beyond mere promise. Only for us to hear that there was a. What is the meaning of a glitch? What is find out the meaning of maybe when he made the announcement that the election has been annulled. So annul, is it cancellation? Is it suspension?
So make it
most touched word. I don't know. So we had to deal with the problem of what was. Okay, do you know the funny thing? All of these back and forth we are having, because it has not got why. From the experience of 20 for an interpretation that's going to open up.
It's like TV.
I told
that's
the, it should be short. So the other man they will begin. So Nigerians are like, which is why there was the but the Senate kept, even though the Senate kept tossing it around, the went same version of the
we had
something had gone wrong somewhere. The rowdy session, Akpabio never takes anything serious. He jokes and fouls around with. You can make all the noise in the world. We'll still do what we want to do.
If you see food, eat.
Which means it's not complete. 3. IREV. That if the electronic transmission of result fails and or declaration of, but the question now is, if anything happens, which one take precedence that whatever you have in the election? Yeah. There's a dispute between.
Is the manual.
That's why people plan for these things. And why I don't. Banks should not even exist on IT if you should not go digital using. As a line to say, oh, internet. What sure are we going to have? So well, go back to manual.
There was
morning shows the day. This one is just come out and get us
92% of offices contested for in 2023 ended up in court. The assembly members, 92%. That's a huge up to the 2023 election to be a better election. INEC also released that was disappointing, even to try some of those new things, because this issue we are talking about is not new. Have we missed that opportunity? And
this is one that we don't know the semantics. Discretionary for INEC. We are deceived. Nigerians this time around.
Simple.
Let it be. If we say, well, if we have missed the opportunity to improve on our elections, I said, on this earlier, as it took the governor how many hours in Kwara State. So the areas where you say that the House of Rep Abbas, that Senator Akpabio, so not because of the judiciary rights. The commitment who will invoke that against Akpabio.
The person that rigged.
Oh, King.
The person that rigged.
No, he didn't tell him. He didn't tell him. You'll be here. So that's why so for that reason alone, don't expect anything forthright from the Senate president. You understand the processes in Nigeria since 1999, no matter how bad it is. We want to move a positive step forward. Last year, when I said like that, 2022, we are giving a promise that was actually I didn't know. We are okay now, electronic transmission, blah 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 blah. That we are saying. Though we still have, I don't know the power of the what you call it, the reconciliation committee. Is it the reconciliation committee now? Harmonization committee. We don't know their powers, whether they can bring the real time back and 1 week or two before it becomes relevant, which means there's another way. But again, Nigerians are not asking for too much. Not just a matter of vote, but we know that
we'll be out.
We'll be out. So you must expect that people will think about what I'm going to describe. They can die for it, or it's for people who don't bother about any niceties. What you saying with children with his agberos with you run away. You get it now, but you cannot go to that length for the numbers. So okay, if 10 people vote for me, be defeated by someone who is also capable. So the class of those who are capable, or who cannot rule, but who are desperate for power and win. You, I say, we will vote for you, but now it's not. Are not functional, just as what we're saying. Our institutions are now the legislature. Our institutions. Let us weave our confidence in Nigerian institutions into our life. Call police for you. Okay, go ahead and call police now. Imbibed in our life, you'll be afraid. I want to charge this kid to court. Already in charge of the court. Go to court. We're talking about argument now, isn't it? It's not that it can be interpreted. Let our electoral act be scientifically based. That if I say two, that's what it is. Are we even looking at it? Just as
I love that.
There might be other things now that might cost you.
It's been debated now that you should be in a political office and you want to contest an election. It's also been debated. If you start,
but we are not concerned only.
We are just concerned about the transmission.
So if we succeed now, if the harmonization committee brings back the rate from looking at it, comprehensively, they were way distracted. Looking at one, why don't just look and say no? We can't. We know that he said this in another year's time, in between now and then, that we can easily do this thing like that. For what I say, Nigerians, but even me, should be ready to say, okay, let it be experimenting.
So Matthew Okodo are raised, they are pushing what we are building up out in the last election. But I think to a broader conversation around the ground for an employee, Samson Itodo, on the in the senators yesterday. And I have a soundbite issue of and I'm laughing because of the amount of opinion on any issue in this, whatever it was. I saw him with his son, who is a man, and one the ADC faction, the ADC in Kano State. Welcome.
Can't treat anybody. That's the Lambert. These politicians will just be throwing.
Bring your children to come
at the elementary body.
Relax, as eating corn on the street of.
You can use. I beg you.
He said he's here. He's here. You must relax.
You move into.
The thing we always do on this show is to go beyond the surface of conversation. You're on radio every Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m.
But what you do about those vulnerabilities is you institute a system in the world that is insulated, dead of. Is the power that electronic transmission of current effect, because at the lowest and perhaps what INEC did by introducing electronic transmission, whether it's IREV, is the fact that it's on a portal defined by INEC. That way it enhances accessibility, so that it worked in Nasarawa, it worked in Zamfara, it worked.
Shall electronically the prescribed form EC8A has been signed and stamped by the presiding. You don't see any polling agent. Provided that if the electronic transmission of the result fails, the result electronically informs. The form EC8A shall in such a case be the primary source of collation and declaration of results. So let me read.
Remember his beginning, his humble beginning, assembly, and the will of Nigerians to have a Senate president. So he's not here to come and the solution is for him to go back and repent. Let the process conclude. We've agreed on this language, on these issues, and Supreme Court Justice Nguta.
Look at the youth of Nigeria. We are really suffering.
Converging the power corridors to make decisions that affects the strive to give it clarity, to deepen your understanding. Mɪᴅ-Wᴇᴇᴜ FM. Politics, it's a whole
Welcome back. I started a risk or backup with Chuku are talking about the fact that rather than the plenary, the emergency plenary, and someone that also are talking about how the president also overseeing all of the senators are represented called Nigeria. Welcome back to the show. Midweek Politics on Miller 98.3 FM side for is here. It's a part of the conversation that a lot of people are losing that was so robust. But girls happen. Oh, Jonathan, I read a book. President Jonathan lost it. There were 5 opposition was playing, talking, and anybody but Jonathan. That was what the opposition sold in 2015 have been. Anybody could have been out. Anybody could have been in. But look at, and not from the operator. The national chairman of the APC into their parties, now they have 247. So they have the place that could help PP and side forward. Is the ruling party consolidating on power, or they are sowing the sea or outside?
For granted. That is we have problem. The McKinsey and the political reason attached to.
No, they said they just
arrive at the Mina Villa.
Only went to CIBB. There was no prior.
If someone to mention now, look at it this way. They say is there you would have eaten enough. Two, that so there are things we look at that make that actually is please. These things you are doing are no show. They're no show. What I'm saying. Yes, the opposition they are mounting counter force that you may not know. So APC is working and they're making noise about that what they are doing. You understand? And for again too, they have the money. But when to them it becomes very necessary to
strategic.
Yes, very strategic. Who is this? Who is there? The APC will not go back. So nobody, whether opposition think that they convene a very survival strategies, but you may not know. So they are that these people are, so it's not a done deal. In fact, if you shake his hand,
we've seen this shake before. In election, that a sitting president that participates in chief of the armed forces alone.
Do you know what? Jonathan as a person could easily have stop it. Not actually an election of you just forget that. But people say, okay, I'm Museveni. They are not a different personality.
So where is that? How the opposition from? But that is the sentiment. We just the nominations, the primaries will be held. Whoever is getting 26, side for, or let me say on the eve of the opposition.
Democracy, more objectives. Party, we have a leader. Sure, it could be power of threat. It also depends. A lot of the electorates don't know. Just like clear timeline. But that look, they have been. The PDP used to be irresponsible family, no doubt. What it tells who allowed the party, so he had entered the, the man just said no. That was the children who were not trained, who had nothing. They have a very influential meaning now. Family now, you have people who are wondering. These are people of Plateau State, that state. And these are guys that ordinarily wondering,
of the president.
But they are conditioned to accept it. State too. You can see now that go back.
Damn him.
Or dropping money. You just have this Abade
in
Ibadan. We have in here who just want to benefit and corner the resources of the Labour Party to chicks before you don't begin to count your blessings until you are as a people and look at how they've also election matters in Nigeria. The Supreme Court they are all in appeal now. I think they'll be judged on the issue of leadership of political parties. So they've all gone now. Even this Labour Party, as the Supreme Court have said, that leadership matters for all of it. So I felt that, because I would think that problems in a political party are into a state. It's like Wike has done for they will not learn because it's when you are happy, when everything is for which how things can quickly fall out.
State,
but you saw
everybody.
You see not be at peace. Political leaders in Rivers State cannot work together until Baba tells them to do so. The people of Lagos State cannot remove their speaker or not, and that is why you see the sign. If
suddenly,
I thought go
to France too. It could be happen before 2020.
It could be a membership card. But this one is not about. I said, who Lagos? Who will be? Be able to really coordinate. For example, you have a family that says, "Oh, when we cook food,
everybody
the
eats
first son must always be the first person to pick." So, and then when we want to eat, we must all be on the dining table. But when you have a party, even though politicians pretend, I'm looking at the right. That is when, at the end of the day, I'm saying that the timing is what we cannot say. It's just a matter. There's a way we can begin to see political parties emerge. You will have people who you will win following what I gave the example of Mamdani. Once the leader, the example of my younger brother, I'm praying for him. It's like his people like him because he's a grassroots guy. He's the people in the community have always, we saw his name there.
Wow.
And we called him congratulations. Once he's done in our own party, the leaders will still check. I said, what are they going on for me? Super. The one that brought somebody. But you know what, Okwemi? The rule campaign within the. But what happened? At the end of, but I'm saying that it's just a matter of time. But unfortunately, we are left with maybe
they have their own.
But they have their own little process that is transparent. And so you party check out what they do. Because what they were saying was so it's a lot of this time. Right?
It's also very important for us to know that for everything, and it's not exactly what the people want. Why I brought up that topic and school parties that went into that election in 2020 of 2 of the quotas. If we have parties, because we're not sure if Sᴏᴜ is still going to show, and it's not leaving the Bola Ahmed Tinubu yet to pick up the Rotimi Amaechi. We've seen El-Rufai, we've seen Aregbesola. On this whole electoral, what would they look for? Read those messages. They say you're obsessed. PPM, you're super down. Mainland 98.3 FM. Side forward is here. Mr. Matthew Okodo is here. And if you're meeting me for the very first time, my name is Okwe, 6 to 8 p.m. on Political Roundtable every Sunday. They decide to discuss, and from Monday to Friday, 4 to 5:30 p.m. it is the Situation Room, and on Wednesday 1 to 3 p.m. Midweek Politics. And don't also forget, every morning we'll have mainland folk. We'll always invite you to join us. Well, did that message just popped in?
Good afternoon.
Sure.
You're welcome.
Telling you,
okay.
Or Lagos State we win, we have,
and I call the APC
the respect of as northern respect.
Okay, so is going to side for us, or maybe those will have made
Mr. Kodwa. He wants to go and take it to do that. Yes, I will than any other person. Language is used. So me, I will know. We are discussing a thing that will benefit the country. And these are the people that will benefit this nation. David of our heart.
Mr. Wᴇᴇ, please, is a proud Nigerian. And the 3 governorship election, they are afraid because they knew that they have been rejected by a majority of Nigerians. You?
Good afternoon, Sir.
You're welcome.
How are you?
Okay.
That's the approach that now. National people to hold me now. But you want to primary? This is not the. I think I spoke of something like the three communities. They have to go the out of assembly primary. You know they give the APC to. You can't challenge. You say no. Challenge when Nigeria. I don't know what we have.
Thank you very much. Well, 2025 is grace. That is obviously coming. Wike has been as like that of many governors and other political gladiators. Good afternoon, Okhma, and to the guys in the studio. I really like Tinubu. You knew. Okay. Apologies. The messages are the calls are pouring in. Okay. That we have here as well. You knew. You think such is going to happen in the APC? Should be aware of those parties joining.
This is kind of a good contribution this afternoon. It's good support. It should have been something good for Nigeria. Mandatory and reach time. It has been. What happened? If there is problem, even an election, if it is a electoral fortune, start. That law would be area if the Nigerian lawyers who they are. The law is yesterday. One of my I wrote. This man said if he's ready to step forth in Taraba, 2 hours. Happen to your sister. We are not getting up for 2 hours now. Yesterday,
there was no network at all.
The network supposed to be
the beavers. Wherever the beavers is used, transmission is position. It could wait whenever. So we cannot run away from it. It's used in that environment.
Tinubu have the old state government. This, I bet that Tinubu would hardly score 2 million. Question is, would Mr. President have the Jagaban boldness to sign it into law? That's our father on 1993. That the most fairest election in this paper that Atiku and Governor Makinde went to Minna to have a closed door meeting with IBB. The annuller of Nigeria's most freest election. And Tᴜɪ̀ᴜ from Agbara, Lagos. Who will save us? Is it true that Wike has a radio station Lagos? Good afternoon, Okhma can be dealt with. It becomes laughed in Greek when they citing the network issue as their reason for rejecting it, because we have so many things to prove that network is not the issue, but their selfish interest. Gentlemen in the studio, I agree to fundamentally. Okhma, my attention is just divided as I'm currently attending a business integrity certification program at the LCCI, and at the same time I'm listening to you guys, because I don't think that they've talked about. We can mention 1,001 organizations that collect our data themselves. How many times have you heard that people have their data hacked? So why should only election result be singled out when the government can spend so much now to tell us the electoral transmission is only practicable on paper? He used to end his comment by saying, I won't bother. Okay.
I get a back question. How
are you, sir?
I'm fine, sir. My name is which system you work in this country? I remember of whether now with candidate we should be at the country. Nigeria, we change our way.
I think the House of Governor and the House of Assembly is house directly in front of his house. So the core members there, and then some of the core member was telling the person to move back, that's cutlass, and slap your face. Hello. Oh, we got a bit late.
My name is where you sir. I want to know, sir, of voter PVC to vote. Can you still call an election? Because
we'll allow you response, son.
I'm calling from Yaba.
Mr. Moses from Yaba.
I had the 2023 election.
The any chairman there assured me that internet network. Yes. That was why it was in the guideline.
The petition election tribunal.
Yes. And they said that no, we are going to do a reform before the next election. Now the next election is there, and they are developing. Who has the problem? Go to the issue of this
I think the beavers machine, you just thinking out loud. Good afternoon to you. My thoughts are on we're not ready or willing to genuinely a dangerous signal. Apologies, a dangerous signal. It suggests that if given the opportunity, the 2027 election could be massively relevant, engaged, and vocal. Our democracy cannot survive on excuses, fear, and half-hearted reforms. We go from money through money point, and money goes through within a second. Why can't such network be used during election? Or they should connect with the POS agent for easy network. I think those guys are not planning another way to get rid of it. It's okay. Thank you very much. Good day, House. I could pity the Senate if the network fails on that day. I foresee national uproar. We are this afternoon. Nigerian politicians are such a special breed. They would never. Can I get a recording of the session you want to always have? Hello, good afternoon. We need to go. This is the last call on the show today.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.